Coming up on today's episode of Airborne Unlimited, NASA delays man's return to the moon to at least 2027. Tickets are live for the 72nd annual EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. FAA mandates digital color vision testing. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. NASA delays man's return to the moon to at least 2027. It's hard to believe, but NASA has delayed the Artemis 2 and Artemis 3 missions again, which were expected to return astronauts to the moon for the first time since 1972, until 2026 and 2027. The decision was made to allow engineers to continue testing on the Orion crew capsule. The last manned mission to the moon was in 1972 with Apollo 17. The agency's Artemis 2 mission aims to send astronauts on a 10-day trip to circumnavigate but not land on the moon. Artemis 3 will follow, marking astronauts' first return to the moon's surface in over 50 years. The two expeditions were originally planned for November 2024 and November 2025, but were pushed back to September 2025 and September 2026 back in January. NASA explained that this was because of concerns with the batteries, air ventilation, and temperature controls on the Orion spacecraft. The program has also been generally controversial due to its relatively high costs and ambition. The timing of these missions was questioned again after Artemis 1 returned with damage to the heat shield. Artemis 1 was a 2-day uncrewed expedition from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in November 2022. Since then, agency engineers and another independent team have spent months conducting tests to determine the cause of the heat shield's excessive wear. After the break, Russian national arrested, aircraft seized in illegal export.
I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartzell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Russian national arrested, aircraft seized in illegal export. Sergei Nechayev is a dual U.S.-Russian citizen arrested on charges of unlawfully attempting to export 2 small aircraft to Russia without the required license from the Department of Commerce. The aircraft involved were seized by the government. The indictment alleges that Nechayev engaged in a scheme to smuggle 2 Cessna aircraft from the U.S. to Russia. He was attempting to export a 1968 Cessna 172K and a 1973 Cessna, together valued at about $170,000, to a purported Russian flight school by falsely representing that the destination and end user of the aircraft were in Armenia. Representative Dingell urges FAA to revise DTW's instrument approach. U.S. Representative Debbie Dingell recently sent a letter to the FAA pointing out safety concerns with the existing Instrument Landing System Yankee approach to Wayne County Airport DTW. She cited the potential for signal interruption with the system's current placement. DTW's ILS-Y is a close parallel approach that can set aircraft up for landing on 3 runways using 2 offset localizers. This antenna system transmits a signal to aircraft for lateral guidance to the runway. However, DTW's 2 offset localizers were poorly placed, allowing them to be easily disrupted by taxiing aircraft or weather. ALPA praises bankruptcy reform proposal. Captain Jason Ambrosi, president of ALPA, issued a statement in response to the bipartisan Protecting Employees and Retirees in Business Bankruptcies Act by Senate Judiciary Chair Dick Durbin, Democrat of Illinois, and Senator Josh Hawley, Republican of Missouri. Quote, airline workers know far too well the devastating effects corporate bankruptcies have on the lives of hardworking Americans. Following 9/11, pilots, including myself, made enormous financial sacrifices to help save our airlines, only to have tens of billions of dollars taken from us in wage and benefit cuts, with court-dictated terms and conditions lasting years longer than required to reorganize and to return to profitability. End quote. Bessie Coleman WAI Advisory Committee applications open. The FAA announced that the application period for the Bessie Coleman Women in Aviation Advisory Committee is now open, and 25 successful applicants will be selected to serve on the committee. Members of the committee will range from aviation specialists and experts to business leaders. The Bessie Coleman Women in Aviation Advisory Committee was established to honor the women in aviation history who played a part in revolutionizing not just aviation, but the role of all women in aviation who challenged social norms. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Tickets live for 72nd Annual EAA AirVenture Oshkosh. Tickets for EAA's AirVenture Oshkosh 2025 are on sale. The convention will be held from July 21st through 27th, 2025 at Whitman Regional Airport in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. 2025 will be the 72nd annual occurrence of the world's greatest aviation celebration. This event surrounds the theme of 1 week, endless possibilities. As future attendees plan their trips, the EAA and supporting parties have quite a bit of planning to do themselves. They will need to confirm aircraft, events, guest appearances, and all the other not-so-little details that make AirVenture such a special gathering. The organization will be using this December's International Council of Airshows convention to nail down the 2025 airshow lineup. Other features will be revealed as they are finalized. On top of admission tickets, the EAA has released a number of add-on items to customers. These include important items like camping and parking permits, plus some fun opportunities, such as Aviator Club tickets or B-25 and Ford Trimotor flights. More on the holiday side, a new Oshkosh-bound tee is also up for sale. These can all be purchased through the EAA's website. After these messages, FAA mandates digital color vision testing.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits. With more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most. Time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Welcome back. FAA mandates digital color vision testing. The FAA recently published new restrictions on color vision exams, replacing the original paper testing book with, quote, modern digital testing equipment, end quote. The regulation will take effect January 1st, 2025. The modifications will only affect initial applicants or those with color vision medical restriction. If they pass, the restriction will be lifted. Current pilots with no restrictions could also be required to take the digital color vision exam if they develop a related medical condition or are on medication with known vision effects like Accutane. This rule only applies to pilots. There will be no changes to air traffic controller color vision standards. This mandate aims to improve safety and limit false passes. Color vision tests currently use the popular Ishihara color book or other related materials. However, these focus purely on the more common red-green deficiency, leaving out the yellow-blue trait. They also utilize the same images, allowing some to simply memorize the color plates to get by. Plus, colors on digital screens don't fade like physical booklets do. These tweaks follow an NTSB recommendation for enhanced color vision analysis. The case involved was a 2002 FedEx accident in Tallahassee. The agency determined that the first officer had color blindness, which could have caused him to misinterpret the runway approach lighting. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.